Hey guys, welcome back to the Frack and Friend Show, episode 23. We have co-host Denise in the
Hey
house.
guys, hi Frack. How you doing, pal?
They do this whenever they don't want to clap. They do like this on the table.
I
You know,
like that though.
Sons of Anarchy. That's where I learned it from.
I like that.
What is going on, my friend?
How the heck are you, dude?
We're
It's
in new
been,
settings, right? Like
I know.
I'm in my kitchen because the room is just too unbearably hot. And I have my dog walking around and just being a lovely little person.
I like this new angle for you though.
Me
It
too.
looks so cute. Look at the little selfie. Wait.
She's so innocent. She's so innocent.
She's just so freaking cute.
We have so many things happening in the next few weeks. A lot of confirmed celebrity guests already in just like 3 days or so, or 2 days of reaching out to different individuals. I'm really, really excited. And of course, the another big announcement is your Oculus, your Meta Quest 2 is arriving Friday, which will be tomorrow, which will be today, whenever it's being posted.
Guys, I am so excited to be in the virtual reality world. I don't know if I'll ever come out, so this might be the last time that you will see my face
Yes.
like this
Yes.
and not an avatar. So
Your life will change. Our lives will change. The show will change because now we get to have movie nights in VR. It's maybe even do a talk show in VR. Finally, bring it from VR to viewers. A lot of different things are going to be taking place. I'm really, really excited. I'm very, very happy. Very excited that it's happening. But yeah, so we're not gonna.
can you go live in in virtual reality world?
You can. You
Whoa.
definitely can. Yeah, you can record it. You can go live. We can have a live audience over there, and it's gonna be crazy,
If
like
anyone out there
surreal.
has if anyone out there has an Oculus and stuff, please like DM us or something so
Yeah,
we can get you guys into our virtual reality world. I want to
into the
make
metaverse.
yeah, I want to make so many friends in the metaverse. So if you guys
Yeah.
have an Oculus or something, definitely like DM us and give us your what username? Is that
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
gonna
It'll
do?
be a username, or if they're connected by Facebook, they'll automatically be our friends because we're all connected through the Facebook.
The metaverse.
Um, it's gonna be wild, man. Like people don't even know. People who haven't experienced VR, absolutely. Now is the time to do so because it is evolving more and more every day, every month, every year. I was an original Kickstarter. I think it was Kickstarter, maybe GoFundMe, but I think it was Kickstarter back in the day when Oculus, before they sold to Facebook, Oculus was trying to create this thing called a VR device. An Oculus is what it was called. And I was an original Kickstarter like person to fund it. So to see it go from developer kit 2, the Oculus Rift CV1, I'm sorry, the Oculus CV1, then the Oculus Rift S, and then the Oculus Quest, and then the Quest 2, and now to the Quest Pro. I think it's been about 8, 9 years of a journey, you know?
And it's gonna be
Absolutely.
more too. Like this is just the
Yeah.
beginning. Like 8 years
Yeah.
seems like a lot, y'all, but
Yeah.
it's just the beginning of an entire. I feel like it's everything's gonna be in virtual reality soon, and we need to
It
get
is.
hip on it, man.
I mean, they're trying to get to where we go grocery shopping. We walk in the grocery store in VR and buy everything, and it gets delivered to our door. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty scary, you know?
It's nuts. I was just talking to my best friend. He's staying with me for a couple of days. I've been so happy, but I was talking to him about how excited, yes, I am very excited for this virtual
Mhm.
reality world, but I've also seen Black Mirror as well, and I
Oh,
can see
wow.
the total opposite of things
Yeah,
happening, like really like military getting involved with it and kind of
they
using,
are.
yeah, exactly. I'm
They
sure.
are.
I'm sure, but there's just so many things in VR that are scary,
Mm,
but there's also so many things in VR that could help so much. Like I was thinking,
yeah.
imagine like you're in school for surgery or something
They
for
already do that too.
to be a surgeon. You can literally
Yeah,
try surgery in virtual reality. Like the
yeah,
endless possibilities that can happen in virtual reality. I'm so excited for, but I'm also really I'm really freaking scared.
yeah.
I'm really freaking scared about what is going to happen because I feel like there's almost zero protection or not
Mm,
protection, but there's it's new. Just like
yeah.
everything new, you are testing the waters on a lot of different things and areas you can go to,
Oh,
and
for sure.
it's a little scary to me. Do you not feel that way at all?
I guess because I've been an Oculus user for many years
Sure.
now. Yeah, it's the same situation with self checkouts. Everyone is scared of it. Now, when it first came out about 7, 8 years ago now, in some stores like Walmart and such, um, they all feared the worst, which was it would take people's jobs. Well, it did. Uh,
Yeah.
it surely did. But to me, and I know the majority would not agree, but you know, I like checking out my own things. I can get out faster most of the time, and I don't have to deal with anyone. I know back in our 90s and our youth, we're so used to going to a supermarket or something and someone's checking us out, and people used to ask how you doing. Nowadays, whenever you get checked out by somebody, you get a lot of angry people who are just throwing your celery and breaking your chopsticks that you're trying to buy because they're so angry at the world. And so I don't know, like, personally, okay, personally, in my opinion, like going to VR, going back to VR, it's made things a lot easier for me, especially when it comes down for to hanging out with friends. Like, you and I, we live, my goodness, thousands of
Those
miles away.
miles away.
Like we'll never be able to walk to each other and say, "Hey, let's hang out." It's just not gonna happen. I mean, maybe by some miracle, I don't know, but
I actually bought the house next door to you.
it's for sale. No, it's not. But no, like, VR can bring things together.
Yeah.
There's always good and bad to
Sure.
everything.
Right. Right. Right.
Absolutely. And I do agree with that. But like my friends who, there's some people that I know in VR, we hang out. Like we sit, where this like 800-foot screen is, and I just put on a movie and we just all hang out, talk to each other. It just brings people together, I find, more than anything else.
That is such a cool way of looking at it, Frack. I really do appreciate that a whole bunch because it's true. Without either virtual reality or social media in general, like our hangouts wouldn't be able to happen.
Yeah.
And to be able to do this with you and like go to a movie with you is so cool because we have been
Yeah.
wanting to hang out together. Maybe you can even eventually go to like Comic Cons in
You can
virtual
go to
reality.
concerts.
Concerts right
Like
now.
Pitbull, I think Pitbull held a concert like 2 or 3 weeks ago in VR, a full concert. where everybody, and he was performing live. Like, I
This
mean,
is
I'm just
crazy.
saying, and that was free. There was no charge. Quavo, I think, did it. Travis Scott did it like a year ago. Like people like do live concerts in VR.
Guys, this is the new future. Like we talk about,
Yeah,
we see holograms on like Star Wars and stuff. Like
yeah.
that's actually about to happen. And I feel very honored and privileged to be a part of this virtual reality world now, dude. Like
It's
this is
gonna
gonna
be
be
insane,
a
man.
whole other world. Like you guys could play games there, watch
Yeah,
movies, watch sports, live sports. Like
yeah, yeah. I do it every Sunday. I don't watch the sports. I'm not really a sports fan, but I do go hang out with different people in the rooms, and we have our avatars, our hands, and everything, and we have popcorn and tomatoes we throw at the screen, and I mean,
dude,
it's
stop.
it's so funny and cool, man, to be able to do that. And like I said, these individuals we would never be able to meet in person, and I find I find so I guess you could say I find it more closer than anything else, even closer than this, because
Right.
like we're literally high-fiving each other and
Yeah.
giving each other a hug, and which is so weird, but people do it all the time. You know.
This is crazy, dude. This is crazy. So I wanted to tell you that I am 33 years old. So
What?
I have witnessed I have witnessed the birth of like chat rooms
Yes. Yes.
and that type of technology, and
Yep.
it was very scary then too. I mean,
Yes.
if you went into chat rooms and stuff, it wasn't monitored like it is now.
Yes. Yes.
It was really scary, just kind of, but also really uh intense to share that type of space together, especially if you found a chat room that was like nice or part of like
Yeah.
a community of whatever interest you have.
Hmm.
I feel like you're right. Like all of this is going to bring people even more together, dude.
I mean, which we can definitely talk about the ICQ and AOL days of chat rooms, because um man, that was like my first exposure to like other humans in a lot of ways, man. Like it really was. I made a lot of friends, in those chat rooms, and there's some that I know today, which
That's what I'm
is so
saying.
crazy. And one of our guests that we're going to have on the show very shortly, which I forgot to tell you about earlier, he he's he was a DJ radio host for like Disney and different things, like
Uh-huh.
on AOL back whenever I was like 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Um, and he was such a huge part of my life, that man right there, because I would call in and we would chat, about Jonas Brothers or Backstreet
Sure.
Boys, or some kind of contest that I won or something. But chat rooms, like I just remember AOL chat rooms. I remember
Yeah.
ASL question mark, age, sex, location. Like who does that now? I wonder what the new generation does, because
That,
back then when we wanted to know something about someone, we would say that, like age, sex, location, ASL, right? And other different
yeah.
terms as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely.
I
Like
mean,
that, I feel like AOL and everything also brought LOL, JK to
oh, sure did.
literally our
Sure
whole
did.
existence now is like acronyms like that. And oh my God, dude, it started because of communicating like this,
Yeah.
AOL chat rooms.
Yep.
And
Which,
I can only imagine how far it's gonna go with VR now. Like, I
I
don't know,
mean,
dude. This is
with
nuts.
VR, it comes down to you having an avatar, which they already announced that there's going to be holograms of us.
Oh, I'm
With this Quest Pro,
no
it's
doubt
going to
about
be
it.
able to do that in the next year to 2 years. And but with VR, it's just so much so different because back in the 90s, you and I were chatting it up in a chat room somewhere, with a keyboard, not knowing if you were really what you said you were,
Right.
or who you were.
Catfish.
And you know,
Absolutely.
Catfish is real, MTV,
Yes.
But now with VR, we have avatars, and we also, for the majority people are connected to their Facebook, so it's verified. But with VR, we also have our voices. We have our mannerisms, and moving our arms and like, "What's up, man?" And you hear that voice. So it's taken it to a whole new level,
This is
entirely new level.
this is just so crazy. And like I said, I feel I feel somewhat old saying like, yeah, I remember chat rooms and all that, but like this is a similar situation of like people getting together and finding ways to get together,
Definitely.
even though you're in, China, I'm over here.
I'm
Like
not in China. I'm in
we can,
Louisiana.
it feels like China all the way
Yeah, it
over
may as well be.
there. But it's just nuts that us as humans have made incredible strides within the past
Yes.
20 years, dude.
Yeah.
We went
Which,
from like zero cell phones to literally like a palm. It's in everything is in the palm of your hand now.
yeah.
It's crazy to me. Just
We
crazy.
we haven't gotten a barcode on our head or anything yet, but I imagine that's going to be soon. I know. Well, maybe I guess maybe in a way we have, because I don't know if you know, but there's these things that are, I forgot what they're even called. I should really know the computer term, but there's like, you know, QR codes that you scan, and it shows your Facebook, your
Yeah.
Instagram, your email, your number, everything. Which, truthfully, that didn't really catch on because most people don't know how to scan a QR code on their phone.
Right. Sure.
But it's cool to have because I have one somewhere, and it displays all my information, anything you want to know about me, any social media page, my YouTube being a page, and Facebook, Frack and Friends, and it's pretty crazy. But it's really shocking that don't um we don't have anything like that where we're scanning in stores yet for credit cards, right?
Dude, it's going to come soon. Caleb, I
Yeah.
feel in the next 10 years, things are going to go really, really fast.
Yes, me
Like,
too.
we are at a point right now where things are fast, but I think it's just going to be light years
Yeah.
time 10 years from now, y'all. 10 years from now.
I mean, and the good thing is we're young enough to, I guess you can say we're young enough to kind of accept the changes in a lot of ways. I know, we always heard it when we were young. Oh, back in my day, we did
Yeah.
this. I wasn't like this, and now we're doing that too, right? I do it all the time. I do it well whenever I'm speaking to my nieces, and oh, when I was your age, just not in
Absolutely.
that kind of tone or voice because that's weird. But we're kind of doing that now. But I don't know about you, but I'm kind of open to changes if they're for the good. I just don't like when Facebook changes their layout because I don't know where anything's at.
Frank, I fully agree with you on that. I feel like us being kind of millennials,
Mm,
we got thrusted into a lot of change.
yeah,
We went from literally seeing no cell phones at all to
yes,
computers to growing up in the AOL age to growing up in the chat room age. We've
yes,
seen so many changes that our parents never got to see. They got to see other changes happen,
Yeah,
but the newer generations are just going to see these changes happening really fast. Like for us,
yeah,
it took 20 years to get to this point from when we were kids to like now.
definitely.
It's going to be 10 years. We're all going to have electric cars. We're all going to have Oculuses.
Yep.
How do
I
you feel
mean,
about jobs being in virtual reality? Do you think that's going to be a thing? Is it already a
um,
thing?
it is. It's definitely already a thing. I mean, I think, a lot of jobs, it's mostly like moderation or moderating
Yeah,
rooms and
yeah,
things,
yeah,
but
yeah,
also
yeah.
there's some that there's this guy that I know, and he builds VR rooms and gets paid a lot of money for for like companies to like build a VR room, meeting room, things like that. I mean, I remember going to an art studio in VR that he had built for someone else because he was paid a lot of money to display her art on the walls. And like,
Which I'm a huge
yeah.
art freak. Like I would love that
Oh,
to see a museum or
yeah,
something,
there's
or
a million of them.
travel to Berlin, or
Yeah. Oh,
like
we could do that easily.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
This is nuts.
yeah. I mean, speaking of travel, do you remember back in the '90s when we had a thing called a map?
Yes, absolutely.
Could never read it. Was never good at that. Especially just being like Morgan City to Homa, and I'm like, I don't know how many miles this is, but the line just stops here, and
Dude, I don't know how people got across. My dad was an expert at having maps always in the back seat on
come
the
on,
on the little thing with the where the magazines are held in the
yeah,
back of the seat.
wow,
He always had maps there, dude, and I was always super impressed. I really do wish that and maybe I will learn how to read a map like that. I think that's fascinating, dude. You don't need
yeah.
a cell phone, and in like Pennsylvania, or if you're going through the mountains or something, like GPS doesn't work there, y'all.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
you're winging it over here. You're
That's
hoping
funny.
that you get to your destination, okay?
Wow, it's so funny because I'm trying to think of when's the last time I used an actual map. When's the last time I touched it? When's the last time I looked at one? Like it's been. I'm gonna have to say, besides going to a mall, which by the way I can't read those either. Um, it's been a decades, like with an S. I mean, it's, but as a kid, I used to read the map all the time, but I just didn't get it. I mean, I'm gonna throw it back to Arrested Development. Where Buster says, obviously the blue part is land. Like.
I love that.
Uh, 2003, man, like 2006, for that season, like, oh my
I've been
goodness.
watching so much Arrested Development lately, dude. It is one of the
I
best shows.
went to, I finished Arrested Development and The Office, Parks and Recreation, those three about 600 times each.
Yeah.
I could pretty much do all the episodes by heart, like,
Yeah, I can
just
definitely
by
quote
name.
Arrested Development. The Office and Parks and Rec, I feel took a lot from Arrested Development, so I don't
Yeah.
enjoy them as much. But Arrested Development, first 3 seasons especially, like
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, like I love when Buster's making noise and Michael's like, Buster, do you have to do that inside? Mom says it's too windy outside. Like,
I
dude,
love it.
Arrested Development does not get the props it deserves. I
It's one
love
of
The
my favorites.
Office. I'm a
Yes.
huge Office fan. Like, seriously, dedicated as can be. I watch I watch it every night. I watch Arrested Development. I watch all three of these like almost every night, if not all three of them every night.
Yeah.
But you know, which we can kind of lead into about these like sitcoms or different shows like that.
Sure.
Because like growing up for me, man, like we had some good TV shows. Like, and I'm
Oh,
talking about excellent. I mean, I just remember like tuning into, Full House and Family Matters and
that's
different.
TGIF lineup, wasn't it?
I mean, literally, like it was just amazing. I mean, one of the biggest ones I don't think gets a lot of props, but it should, is the George Lopez show.
Oh my God.
Like, I
As a
mean,
Spanish individual, I
mm,
loved the George Lopez show, dude. It was one show that actually was like accurately portraying Hispanic middle
for
class
sure,
people in America. Like
for
truly
sure.
one of the most underrated shows. Absolutely.
And it's just so crazy because I look at what people are watching today, and I try to check out what people are telling me or
Sure.
suggesting as far as like kids suggesting like shows and movies. And there was this movie on Disney Channel called Zombies or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I just remember watching the clips of this girl and this guy singing, and it was all auto-tuned to like T-Pain effects. So it was like, this is good. Like,
I'll
eh,
tell you, listen, speaking of Jonas Brothers earlier, I feel like Jonas Brothers and Miley Cyrus and Demi Lovato, like all of those now kind of older generation of Disney
yeah,
people, I think they started it with Hannah Montana, the Jonas Brothers,
yeah.
especially what was it, Camp Rock? I think it
Camp
was.
Rock and Camp Rock 2.
Yep, Camp Rock and Camp Rock too. They started those types of Disney movies. When we were kids, I
Sure.
remember like Blank Check or Life Size.
Oh, yes.
What was a freaking other one? Wasn't Surfs Up one of them or something like that? No, Johnny Tsunami. That's what I'm
The
thinking.
Tsunami. Yep. That's
Johnny Tsunami.
Yuji Sakamoto, man. Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Shout
exactly.
out to Yuji, by the way. We love him on the show, and he came on the frickin' Frack show to surprise the guy who plays Johnny Tsunami. The guy who plays Johnny.
Yeah.
Because he was his father in it, and I asked him to make an appearance in the beginning of the episode, and he did.
That makes me so happy.
And now he's on top of the world, especially now because he came back as chosen for
Yes.
Cobra Kai, and
Yes.
he's like the talk of the series, and he
Yes.
should be. He deserves it.
Oh, this makes me so happy. No, but I do agree. I think shows have definitely changed. A lot of my comfort shows right now have been a lot of kind of like 90s sitcoms, like you said.
Me too.
Friends is always going to be like a background staple. Seinfeld is another
Well,
background staple.
yeah,
A little newer Arrested Development is definitely a staple as well.
definitely.
Um, but yeah, I love a lot of the older shows like Step by Step or Family Matters. Like those,
Yes.
I can still watch those with my nieces. Like they love Full House, and especially with like the new reboot that happened. That
Oh,
like it's okay, whatever. Yeah, but they absolutely loved the older seasons, and I was like, yes, like I'm glad that these shows are still hitting the right notes with some people.
for sure. And I mean, I understand. We talked about change earlier. I understand that things have to change with the times.
For
But
sure.
man, just I know like Kenny Ortega directed High School Musical, and then he directed Descendants, I believe,
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Two different kind of musicals, two
Yeah.
different kind of movies, and or multiple movies, and um, very confusing, because maybe it's because we didn't grow with it. Like we grew up with
Right.
High School Musical.
Right.
It means so much to us, and
Yes.
we watch it today and know all the words and just
Yeah.
still love it the way we did as kids. And then we turn on Descendants, and it's like bad to the bone, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
My nieces are like love the Descendants like
you need
music,
to give
and
it a
they're always trying to put on zombie music too, and I'm like, what is this? What is
chance.
going
I mean, I guess maybe it's just because, like I said, we didn't grow with it. And maybe I just need to sit down and just go into it knowing that that's one thing I tell people about movies today, right? I always tell people who watch old movies and say, oh, they're like, oh, this sucks and this is terrible. And how did it get a good rating? Because back then, that's what we had.
Yeah.
We saw and watched things differently
Right.
versus today. Because to me, a good majority of the movies today and even shows are terrible. They suck. They
Yes.
really do. But to others who grew up in this time, and let's just say who was born in 2005 or so, they love it because
Right.
they grew with it over time in their life. That's what they know.
Right.
There's a movie that I've seen. Well, that a friend of mine watched, and he didn't understand how it got a 92% or something like that. It's an 80s film, and I just said, you have to watch it in the eyes of someone growing up in that time, or when we were kids, and that's what I do when I watch an old movie. You know, let's just call out one. Let's just call out.
What about Karate Kid? I mean, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
Like, if you
perfect
watch that,
example.
we love it, but other
Yeah,
people are like,
but then again, Karate Kid, I would say, is um one of the movies and franchises that grew with
yes,
the kids today, which blew my mind. But I mean, watching it, which I watch it once, twice a year, the all the movies, I can understand why,
yeah,
you know, because it really is for everybody. And it didn't even do the greatest in theaters, there's plenty of movies that did horrible in theaters, but my goodness, it's a cult classic now. I mean, look at Halloween. Halloween
Rocky
originally
Horror
did not
Picture
do,
Show. Yeah,
yeah, like, Halloween originally didn't do good in theaters. It didn't do good.
yeah.
But my goodness, what is it now? The number one Halloween film. When people say, "Name me a Halloween movie," what are you gonna say? You're gonna tell me Halloween,
Yeah.
or Michael Myers, even.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
cool. It's really, really interesting. Like, just thinking about that kind of stuff. We're throwing it back to the '90s.
No, I think about that even when I watch older movies from the 50s or even later. I'm like, yikes, all of this stuff is really
Mhm.
problematic. How did it get a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever?
Casanova or Casablanca.
Casablanca, yes. That is a prime example. And why is it on, AFI's top 100? Because
Yes.
it
Yeah.
was a very vital, important piece of history. At one
Definitely.
time, that was the norm. And at one time, that was the best movie that ever could have happened. Um,
Definitely.
but you're right. Yeah, I think you really have to look at movies, especially nowadays, with not lower expectations, because I feel like
Mhm.
that's a crappy thing to say, but like,
Yeah.
really, yeah, like, I don't know.
You
Maybe
have to
when
look at
you're
it differently through the eyes of someone growing up in that time. And I know it's difficult. For me, it's not, because I can just see it. Like when I watch something from the '90s, let's say Friends, okay?
yeah,
Now I know that's another one that grew with the times too, and
yeah,
people do it. But if you watch it versus a sitcom today, there's no similarity
yeah,
to it. Nothing
absolutely,
at all. But if you watch it and you say, okay, I'm going to watch this with friends. I'm going to watch it in as if I lived in the '90s and through this time. Then you have a love, a lore, like a real big love and respect for the series in general. Which Friends will always be one of my number ones too.
same.
I mean, I never finish it because I keep watching the same episodes over and over.
That's okay.
But I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
I really, one that is in the news right now that's trying to make a comeback is Malcolm in the Middle. Did you ever see Malcolm in the Middle?
So I was a big fan of Malcolm in the Middle, believe it or not. I was a huge fan of Frankie Muniz growing up with Agent
Yeah.
Cody Banks and Big Fat Liar and
He was a
uh,
staple, a true
My
staple.
Dog Skip. We're not going to talk about that movie. I don't want to dive into that.
Tears, tears,
Um, you know,
full tears, dude,
you know, hurt,
full tears.
pain,
Yes,
pain. But yeah, I was a big fan of Malcolm in the Middle. Growing up, that was on Fox.
Yep.
That was that was just so well done, and they went quite a bit of seasons too. You know,
Yes. Yes, they sure
and I
did.
mean, Bryan Cranston, Frankie Muniz, and I
Jane
forget the
Kasmerick.
yes, yeah. I mean, what a lineup! And
Yeah.
now it's so funny because the biggest problem, and this is so crazy, but I watched what is it, the bad Breaking Bad, right? So
Yeah.
I watched Breaking Bad, and about halfway, I'm like, where do I know this bald guy from? And he just, and it blew me away to know there was Bryan Cranston. Because he looks nothing like his like the dad
Yes.
of the series,
100%.
um, which I mean, that's just I don't know, like it. That was just very lifelike and surreal in a lot of ways to me. That show, just like you said earlier, it was just very authentic to the American average household.
Exactly.
Which I mean, that's another thing. That's another thing I feel like we're leaving out in today's sitcoms. Now everything's all about the raunchiness. It seems like from the shows that
Yeah.
I've seen. Um, but it's just about the raunchiness and different kind of jokes, and it's just not about the American family. You know,
Right. No, 110%. I definitely feels you on that. I felt seen with like shows like The Simpsons or
oh
even
wow,
even even all that. Like those kids, I saw
yeah,
them and I was like, yo, those are kids like me, just trying
yeah,
to be goofy and stuff. I feel
yep,
like kids don't really have that type of thing. Even with Malcolm in the Middle, that was like the most middle class family. And I
definitely.
knew so many people that were like that family.
Oh yeah.
Loved it, dude. I loved it.
I mean, and we're gonna end after this point, but I do want to say, let's never forget Lizzie McGuire.
Yes.
Lizzie
Yes.
McGuire. I I didn't have a brother growing up, a full brother, but I had many sisters, right? So some of my sisters remind me of Maddie. You
Patty.
know, it was very that one I would say is definitely one of the top that I can like compare my life with.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
it was very authentic. You
Same with,
know,
I'm even thinking like Clarissa Explains It All as
oh, I
well.
forgot about
Like
that one.
just these freaking average teenagers.
Yep.
So cool, man. So cool. I felt like I could be Clarissa Explains It All or Alex Mack. Like I could be one of those
Yeah.
people, but
Look,
now it's like
we
a lot of suspension of belief, maybe. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I just think like imagination is kind of going wild in some people's heads, and
Yeah.
especially showrunners today. I'm
Yeah.
not going to call out one in particular that's been going on for 20 seasons. In a hospital, but it's look, it's just a beauty to be able to like reminisce about these shows. And now after this, I'm gonna go watch Arrested Development and
Yes.
Friends and Carissa Explains It All. Like I'm gonna be watching everything after this. My Disney Plus expires in 5 days. After 3 years, it's expiring. I'm about to renew that again the second it expires because it won't let me do it until it expires. Because Disney Plus, if you guys don't have it, they have everything we have as kids. Like the 99.8% of anything you're looking for that we watched on Disney Channel, full seasons, full shows, full episodes.
Even stuff that wasn't though, like X-Men the
Yeah,
animated series,
yeah.
like all of that cool stuff is on
Fox,
there too.
Fox Kids.
Yes, Fox Kids. Yes.
Was it five? I don't know. I forgot the song, but it's like something of summer one Saturday morning.
Listen, dude, they had Digimon over there, and
Yes,
I was a huge Digimon fan, dude.
me too. Akabar, Digimon 2, Bravemon.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah,
Yo, I haven't heard that in so long.
I don't know how I remember that, but yeah, that's the only thing I remember from Digimon
That was bad.
is that. Yeah. And now she's biting my ear. Uh, that really hurt, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Guys, this is Sophie. For those who didn't see the last episode yet, this is Sophie.
Little sweetheart.
Well, look, Denise, thank you so much for joining me again and again. We have some amazing things coming.
Yes.
Really, really excitement. I think even next week, to next week, I think we have 2 different things happening for us, and it's going to be fun. I'll see you in VR this weekend.
Yes.
We're going to take some videos and photos and post on the Frack and Friend show. Yeah, thanks for coming, chill, and reminiscing about this and making me remember about all the great shows we had. And,
guys, go watch Alex Mack right now, or go watch Clarissa Explains It All. That's
what it all ends up doing, and what it all ends up coming down to is watching Clarissa Explains It All. Life with Derek.
Yes, Pete and Pete, even.
What is the show with Emma Roberts? Unfabulous?
Oh, yes. Or Victorious too. Yeah, that was a little past my time, but
Zoe 101. I mean,
Zoe 101 was good. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys, this is the Frack and Friend show. Till next week, we'll see y'all then. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Peace.
That was awesome.